My name is Mr. Pettoello. I've been here at Rogers for, I think, about 18 years, and I teach art. I graduated from Eastern Washington with a degree in education, and I also went to Lewis and Clark College in Portland, and I also went to Spokane Falls. I didn't know it was my profession, but I did know that after in my second year of college that I was pretty good at it. I took a class in college that had a whole bunch of prerequisites, and I had no experience up to that point. And so the teacher said, "You've never taken art before, have you?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, I'll grade you like I grade everybody else." So the first assignment I got a D on it, but very quickly I was getting A's, and so I figured, well, I'm pretty good at this. And I guess my mother always said I should be a teacher, and of course I never believed her, but then eventually I realized that that's what I should be. I started field painting about 12 years ago. We would do it here at Rogers for the baseball team, and I did it a couple years, and so I knew I was capable of doing that. And then I happened to be down in Walla Walla about 10 years ago when they were starting a minor league team, and I met the gentleman who owned the team the day before their first home game, and I said, "You know, I could just paint the logo on your field for you if you just buy me tickets to the game and give me a free hat." And so he took the chance, and it looked good, and I knew once I had some pictures of that it would lead to more jobs, and it has. Well, it's one of those things where there's a small group of people that need your service or would want it. So it's not like I just advertise anywhere. Once I do work for one team, and then another team will come in and see that, I'll make sure I see that coach and say, "Hey, I did the field. If you like it, let me know." And so very quickly the word spreads. In fact, I just got a call from a gentleman that I've worked for before over in Bellingham, and now he's starting a whole bunch of these indoor soccer facilities. So he's gonna bring me to paint those. So it's just a small circle of people that know about that and would use those services, and there's not many people that do it. So when it's cold, it's difficult to control your fingers, so it makes it hard. When it's windy, it's difficult to control the paint as it comes out of the can. When it's wet, the grass doesn't take the paint quite the same. So when I paint over in Bellingham, for example, that's almost always cold and wet and rainy. So it's difficult, but you just have to get it done. I try to always think about my client. I know that sounds professional, but I want to get the best work I can for them. So I think I have a good reputation. I always get it finished and I always get it looking good. Something funny just happened 2 years ago. So I'd been doing this for 8 years, never misspelled a word, and they always will joke, "Ah, you misspelled something." I'm like, "Ha ha ha, really funny." And so 2 summers ago, a guy goes, "Hey, you misspelled a word," and I, "Ha ha ha, really funny." And he goes, "No, you really did." And I'm like, "Ha ha ha, funny." But I had misspelled something, so you had to go back in and paint over it. And so it's easy. It's just like painting on a piece of paper, though. You just paint over it. It becomes difficult, though, if you put things on the side out on the grass where they don't belong. Then you have to. It just is harder to repair something like that. Well, I guess the 2 biggest ones I painted were for the Northwest League All-Star Game that was at Avista Stadium for the Spokane Indians, and then the Northwest League Pioneer League All-Star Game down in Ogden, Utah. Did those. I've done a lot of All-Star Games for the West Coast League in Walla Walla, in Bellingham, Yakima. So that's kind of fun. There's always, 2,000 or 3,000 people at those games. I've met famous baseball players, so to the average person it may not really be that big of a deal, but I've met some famous baseball players, and so just being around baseball, since that's something I enjoy, it's fun for me for that standpoint. There's nobody in the Northwest that does it the way I do it, because for a team like the Seattle Mariners, when you watch their game on TV, they have a big logo behind home plate. They have a stencil that they just put down on the ground, and it's pretty easy. Almost anybody could use a can of paint and spray that. But the stencils cost $750,000. So for a smaller team, that's a lot of money for them to pay. So I come in and will just freehand that same thing. And as far as I know, there's no one in the Northwest that freehands logos on fields except for me. You're bending over for 8 hours, so I don't know how long I can do that, but right now I can still do that, but maybe when I'm an old man, it'll be easier because I'll already be all bent over, right? Yeah, I think I'd like to do that for a long time. We'll see what happens. Well, I wouldn't have advice about this, but I would about any job that you get. It has to be something you really like, because I would basically paint these fields almost for nothing, but don't tell those people, because I love baseball. I like being able to create art, and it also makes me feel good when people come up to me and say, oh my gosh, the field looks great. So if you can find something that does all those things, do it, because that's what you were meant to do. I jokingly say that God gives you these talents, but that's true, right? I was given this talent, and I'm lucky that I'm able to utilize it.